All right, so one that I am playing because it is on Game Pass as well. So I downloaded it and played. I think 2 missions maybe. Was Frostpunk 2. Have you guys played Frostpunk 2?
No, not
Oh,
yet.
I didn't know that was on Game Pass.
Yeah. Yep.
Cool. I've not
Um,
played it though.
so what did you play the first one? Either one you play the first one at all?
Mm-mm.
I mean, it's not for like some people don't like city builders, and it is one of the it's a survival
I
city builder.
do love
So
Okay,
city builders.
I do too.
um
SimCity.
yeah, so this is that in like a post-apocalyptic world where everything has like humanity is pretty much frozen to death, and you are like a group of small survivors who are still trying to survive. And of course, you have these. It's got a lot of desperation to it. It's very kind of sad. All the little like, hey, these civilians are coming to you for a decision. It's all like depressing stuff. Like,
Yeah.
Mm.
for
Real
example,
uplifting game.
oh,
It's like
totally.
SimCity, basically.
It'll be like, well, we have found this hunting location. We can hunt seals for food, but we're starving, and so we want to just hunt every seal we can find. It'll deplete that source of food for us, but also the elders have said that's a bad idea. You're ruining the future. So a group of us have volunteered to just walk out into the wilderness and die. So you have less people to feed.
Jesus.
So you have to make like those are the kind of decisions they have you make.
Oh,
Dude,
mate.
that sounds like Bill Burr would love that
Yeah,
game.
no kidding. Like,
85% if you have to go.
And then you do have a choice of saying, no, we're not doing any extremes. We're going to make it. And depending on the difficulty level, they give you a little more leeway on things. But I
Yeah.
mean, your resources are tight. You've got very small windows of decisions to make. You're not going to be sitting there. Maybe later in the game, you would have like an overabundance of materials, maybe. But for
Mm.
most of it, you're set up to have, like, if you need 95 total to complete the basic mission goals, they're probably going to give you 100 of whatever the thing is. Like they're going to give you
Mhm.
just barely enough, maybe a little bit more of what you actually need. So it's one of those games where you have to tighten the belt. And but I think the style of it is so cool. The way that you
Yeah.
send out, like, and if you want to build, it's like a hex grid. And if you want to build, you have to send out these machines to break the frost on space, so it's then buildable.
hmm
And then you can find these like old oil reserves or materials or land that underneath the frost there is actual soil you could use to plant stuff. So you have to like break the frost with these machines first. Then you can send people to build these, what is it called, extraction. It's like an extraction site, and it kind of
hmm
builds a little like looks like a town basically of this extraction site that goes on it, and then that slowly drains the resources of that spot. And when that's gone, you have to find another one. So there's
Okay.
that constant like find the next thing. You can't just be sitting on your hands and look back and enjoy your city. Some
Yeah.
city builders let you do that, where you kind of build it and
Right.
go like, look what I did. Like, this is the
Yeah, and
kind of
just
thing
kind of, yep, let it do its thing.
you have to be on to the next thing real fast. But it looks so cool. Like
Hmm.
when you create all your little homes and houses and stuff, and all the little lights are on, snow is all around everywhere, but everything kind of looks probably pretty freezing, but like cozy. There's a cozy element to that part of it, but then you know that people are like freezing to death, so it's pretty dark.
Right.
I've always
Well,
loved
I
the aesthetic of it.
The
yeah,
aesthetic is super cool.
no, it sounds really cool, and I like that. Yeah, it just kind of keeps driving you forward. So, and that is one thing in
Hmm.
some city builders, they get a little stale after a while, but if it's
Yep.
driving you to that kind of next thing, gives the incentive. So,
Yep.
sounds cool. Might check it
Yeah,
out.
and there's different things you can do, like, hey, you're going to ask the citizens to tighten the belts, which basically means
Hmm.
they're going to eat less, which means your rations will go farther, so your food supply will dwindle slower, which is good, but they're going to be mad at you. Or if you run out of money, you can demand that they give you, and their money is called scraps, so any kind of like scrap materials you can use to build or
Hmm.
buy things, you can demand it from them. But then like their trust in you goes down over time. There could be like mutinies and people leaving to go start their own settlement, and you'll lose a bunch of workforce, and all that kind of stuff could happen.
Sounds not stressful.
It
Right.
is.
Sounds not stressful
So
at all.
I didn't see any kind of like super easy mode, but they do have
Hmm.
difficulty modes where you can make it as easy as possible, where there's like more resources
Okay.
available to you. Or but what's cool is that for the most part you're always prepping for a whiteout. So there's always a big blizzard coming. The temperature is going to drop by like 70 degrees. So the normal temperature is like negative 22, 23 Fahrenheit. That's the normal like
Balmy.
survivable. Yeah, that's a balmy negative 23.
Oh,
And
man.
which, Dan, you're used to living up in
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
northern
I know what that
states there.
feels
Yeah,
like.
But
love it. It's great.
Both of you. We got
Big
we
fan.
got the middle of the country north, and we have the northeast between the two of you. But anyway, when the whiteout hits, it drops to the point where like all work stops because everyone just has to huddle down inside and survive. And you
Okay.
have to have
Jeez.
accumulated enough food or coal or whatever else. So there's an element of like storing up for the winter to
Right.
it, even though it's always
Yeah.
winter, but you're storing up for like the
Right.
real winter when it hits. And there's
Yeah.
they just have all these cool effects that kick in, like little, like the glass around the edge of your screen, like will
Mhm.
freeze. You kind of hear it crackling as it like freezes in, and
Oh, that's
like
cool.
they
I
just
like
have
that.
cool effects that they're just trying to hit you hard with like it's cold
Yeah.
and it sucks to
Yeah.
be there. So be glad that you're sitting in your office or living room wherever you game, and you're sipping on your drink while you control this from afar. But anyway. But yeah, it's a cool game. I like it. I think it's really neat. It's worth trying if you have Game Pass.
Rad.
If you
Heck
like.
yeah.
So
Is that just PC Game Pass or is it on consoles too?
I know it's coming to consoles, just like the first one did.
Okay.
I don't know if it's
I
out
don't know.
on consoles
It's
yet.
only 11 gigabytes, so I mean, it's worth giving it a download. I think it looks cool.
Yeah.
I do think it's on everything, but it's free on Game Pass. But I think it's on PS5
Okay.
and the Series X. If it's not out on them yet, it is coming to them. It's like listed as.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? The console versions are coming in 2025.
There you
Okay.
have it.
Because I know with games like that, they're definitely because it's way easier to play with like a mouse and keyboard.
Oh,
Those type of
absolutely.
games.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, the first one had a similar thing where the PC version came out in 2018. Console versions came out about a year later. So there you go.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, so Frostpunk 2, I do recommend. It's very cool. I think it's great. It's one of those ones that I'm certainly going to go back to. But you're not totally wrong, Dan, when you said like that sounds super relaxing and not stressful at all. Like there is a stress factor to it that you have to kind of take a deep breath and be okay with. It's not that different from when you have to like kind of roll up your sleeves to play a Souls-like. You're like, all right, I'm gonna get my butt kicked and I'm gonna lose a lot and I have to be okay. Like you just are ready, right? You just have to be in the mindset for it. So this is not so much a SimCity or one of those kind of games. It's a little bit more survival meets city builder.
Mm-hmm.
So
a little more strategy in there then too. It
definitely,
sounds like.
yeah.
Yep.
And
Cool.
I won't tell you all the decisions, but they give you some real tough decisions to make. That's like, dude, this is brutal. Like I don't want to decide this.
Sounds.
I hate making decisions like that.
Yeah, it happens.
I never want to be in charge of a
gives
post-apocalyptic city.
It usually gives you like a neutral type decision you could make, because each decision usually has like positive here, negative here, or the vice versa. And then the neutral one is okay, but if things don't go perfectly, it's going to go just negative in all these areas that you just avoided. So anyway, yeah. So Frostpunk 2.